So before this week's online tutorial on Microsoft Teams, I want you to engage with this video here, and it's just a quick demonstration on how we can develop orthographic working drawings using the previous 3D cabinet model that you made in Teaching and Learning event 3 last week. So this is the first section of making an orthographic working drawing from the 3D model that we created in the last Teaching and Learning event. So the first thing we're going to do, so on our working drawing, we don't actually want to see this floor section because it's not actually relevant to us for our measurements. So we'll just go ahead and hide that. So if we just go onto the floor, right click, we can hit hide, and that's hidden now and won't be in our working drawing. So to open up the working drawing itself, what we're going to do is go up to File, and you should have already downloaded the template from the Google Classroom. I'm going to open, and then find wherever you downloaded that template and open it up. So I'm mine here, I'll just hit open. So you can see now we open up into a different page from our model, and this is where we're going to create our orthographic working drawing. So you can see in the template we have elevation, plan, and end view, and then we have a pictorial view. So the first thing we're going to get started is we have our name box down at the bottom. So the way we can access that to type in our name, date, and the scale, and if we want any notes, we'll just go ahead and where we see A3 landscape versus angle, we'll right click on that, go to edit sheet format, and that will allow us to edit this section here and add our name. So just go ahead and add your name in there. So just double left click, and type your name in. Then you can add the date as well. So we're going to leave the scale section just for now until we find out what scale we're exactly using. So once that's done, you can come up to the top right, and we can exit that, and we're back where we started. So now that we've that done, next thing is to put in our model itself and get the scale of each section correct. So if we go up to the top left hand corner, we can see drawing and model view. So we'll just left click on model view, and your model should appear here in open documents, but if it doesn't, you can just go down to browse and find it in your file system. So just double click on that, and we can scroll down here until we see preview, make sure that's selected, and also just make sure that design annotations is switched off, and just turn back on import annotations. So we can go ahead now and select our scale. So if we just bring across, we can see it's a bit small looking, so we'll make our scale a bit bigger. So at the minute it's scaled as 1:20. So we want our drawing to be a bit bigger. So we'll go to use custom scale, and we'll just change that to 1:10 and see what that looks like. So you can see that's a bit better. So maybe it's a bit too big. So we'll change that to 1:12. There you go. So that is appropriate for the size of our page. So what we'll go ahead and do is we'll make sure that we are in the correct line type. So we've hidden lines removed, we've shaded edges, and then we've shaded. So we want to be in the hidden lines visible. So this is going to show us more detail on our working drawing. So once you have that selected, come across to our elevation. We'll left click, we can drag down, that'll give us our plan, left click again, and come back up, and we can left click, get our end view. So once you have your 3 views in, what you can go ahead and do is press escape or hit that green tick in the right hand corner. Now we have our 3 views in place. So we can start to position these and get things tidied up a bit. So what we'll go ahead and do is we'll move our elevation. So left click, and you can drag it and get it right under the elevation. And you can do the same thing with your plan view. See the yellow line appears when you're right under it. And we can just make sure the same is done with our end view. Now that we have our model views in and we are scaled correctly, we can go ahead and smart dimension some of the important measurements on the drawing. So if we look up here in the annotation section, we can go to smart dimension and we can scroll in on our top. We can go from either end and it will smart dimension this on our drawing. If we left click on either side, come up to the top, left click again, and you can just hit escape. So you can see there we have our measurement for the total width. We can also do the same for the height of the cabinet. So if we go from the bottom of the feet up to the very top, you can see there we have our full height. So we want to make sure that just like your normal orthographic drawing that you used to do manually, you want to select an appropriate amount of measurements and only measurements that are necessary. So we don't want to overpopulate the drawing with unnecessary measurements. So we have the total width on the end view. So left click between the two ends, left click, hit escape then. So what I want you to do is go ahead and repeat that process for all the key measurements you think is on this working drawing. So once you're happy with all your smart dimensions and you think you have an appropriate amount, I want you to go ahead and we're going to add in our pictorial view. So once again, we're going to go across the drawing, model view. We're going to double click on that file, except this time we're going to scroll down and we're going to either trimetric or dimetric. So select either one of them, whichever one you prefer. You can try around and see which one you prefer. So I'm just going to go for trimetric. So we'll tick that, make sure preview is on, and come across, and we can left click that into place and hit escape. So if you think that size is too small, you can scale it up or scale it down by double left clicking, scroll down, and the same way we changed scale before, use a custom scale, change it. So I think that's a pretty good size for the space we have on our sheet, so I'm going to leave it alone. So we can also change our model view here to have a bit of color to it, so to show more accurate representation of what our cabinet looks like. So if we double left click, we can scroll down and we can change it from what we had with the hidden lines removed. So we can change that to shaded edges. So I think that looks pretty good. Also other options, so have a mess around and see which one you prefer. We can move our pictorial view right now to under that. So now the last thing we're going to do is we're going to create this drawing here into a shareable PDF file, which would be useful if you're working in a team in your cabinet shop, and so you can send around working drawings digitally instead of through paper. So the way we're going to do that, we're going to go up to File, top left, hit that, and if we scroll down, we can see Print. So we'll hit that Print, and you can see here we have Microsoft Print PDF. So if that's set to a printer you have at home, just scroll down the list and select Microsoft Print PDF out of that list. Next thing we need to do, we know this is an A3 drawing sheet. So we're going to go to Page Setup and make sure that size is selected A3. It might be on A4 automatically. So just hit A3 and make sure that you have color or automatic set on. Hit OK. So now we're ready to hit OK onto this, and this will bring us into our files. And I want you to save this as teaching and learning event for underscore working drawing. And you can stick your name at the end there too. So once you're happy with that, it's named correctly, and it says save as a PDF document, hit save. And that will save to your file as a PDF document. So to find that PDF after you just saved it, if you go down to your files and click into them and go to wherever you saved it, should be there. So we have teaching and learning event for working drawing and your name. Double click on that, and that should open up our drawing that we just completed.